That is to say, when you finish your program with us, you will then be qualified to go out and gain employment in the private sector. You will have something to put on an application form to give to your potential employer. Today we have a success story that we'd like to share with you. It reflects on a young lady who was living in our Booley Street complex and who took the opportunity of applying for the program and was one of 2 successful candidates. The program actually went into being in 1989, and our first year proved so successful that we decided to continue it, and this year we have hired one young lady from our Limberlost complex. I'd like now to introduce you to JennetteDeboer. Jeanette is one of the 2 ladies who joined us last year and spent 6 months in training with the Housing Authority program. Good morning, Jeanette.
Hi.
It's very exciting for us, Jeanette, to be putting this tape together because we're hoping to use it at a later date to show our residents just what the TEOP program can afford and what it does for you. Perhaps we could start with your life story prior to your hearing about the TEOP program. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jeanette.
Okay, I was on mother's allowance. I have 3 kids. I was just barely making ends meet. Some months was pretty hard. I couldn't go out and buy the kids any extras, or they just got the bare things for Christmas, or we wanted to go away camping. We couldn't afford it because we just didn't have the money. It was pretty tight. We lived on just a basic income.
Okay, and you were on mother's allowance at that time, Jeanette?
Yes, I was on it for 7 years.
And how long were you in training when you started the program with the Housing Authority? How long did the training program last?
6 months.
6 months.
Yes.
And what did you learn? What kind of work?
I started off in buildings. I went into, I guess custodial work is what you call it. I did like toilets and sinks and mopping, cleaning the building, lights, garbage, just basic things that go on in a building.
So that's the day-to-day chores, that stripping floors and waxing them, and basically keeping the
cleaning
building.
units, empty units that people had moved out, getting prepared for a new tenant. The painting people would come in, contractors.
And who did the training? Was it the custodian in the building?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was done by several different custodians. Then I went into the complexes, the townhouses. There I learned a lot. How to rip up floors, how to take toilets up, how to put the new ones down, how to put a bathtub in, and then back into like the cleaning of the townhouse.
Did you learn any plumbing? Or
yes.
Electrical?
Yes, I did. Plumbing, I had to solder pipes together. It was a little scary at first, but this flame shooting out, you're thinking, oh my, I'm going to burn the wall up. But it gets easier. You've got a good trainer, which helps. I had really good trainers. And I went back into the buildings, and then from the buildings I went and did landscaping. The landscaping was hard, but the building looks so gorgeous now. The outside of it really looks nice.
So you did flower beds and trimming?
I cut down trees. I actually cut down trees. I cleared a whole piece of land in the back of the building that had been overrun by, shrubs and weeds and you name it. Cleared it right out so that it really looks gorgeous. People used to throw their garbage back in there. We got it's just, a nice picnic table there now. It really looks nice.
Great. So while you were in training for those 6 months, you were being paid an hourly rate for a 40-hour week. Did that have any effect on your mother's allowance?
No. In fact, mother's allowance kept me on my benefits, and I was given $2.50 an hour or a month to kind of keep me on until the end of my 6 month training period.
And that kept your medical coverage?
Yeah, my
intact.
drugs and my OHIP and anything that happened to come up, that kept me covered on it. Okay? At the end of my 6 month time, I was like hired. Mother's Allowance again gave me $170, I think it was $179 more in a 3 month basis, like split up, to keep me on my benefits until my benefits started with use. Yeah.
So at the end of the 6 months, it just so happened the Housing Authority was looking for a custodian.
Yes.
And Jeannette decided that she would like to apply for that. She did. She was a successful candidate and is today on full-time staff with the Housing Authority. And as we speak, she is the custodian at 349 Warncliffe Road North. Very proud of her building and very proud of herself. Tell us what your life is like now, Jeannette, now that you are a hard-working lady. Has your lifestyle changed?
Yeah, drastically.
Can you
I've
tell us
gone
about
from Cooley Street paying very low income, like for rent. Okay, it was $209 a month to a condominium now. Okay, and I pay $727 plus utilities, and still able to afford it. I've bought a car. I've bought new furniture. I'm basically doing extremely well. My family, my friends, my kids are really proud of me.
That's the way it
And
should
I'm
be.
proud of myself.
You've come a long way.
Yeah.
As a single mom, you hadn't worked for almost 15 years.
No, it was longer than that, actually. My daughter she's 22 now, and I've been with housing for a year and a half. So she's, 19, almost 20 years that I hadn't worked.
Yeah, you must have found a big change in the work world.
Yeah, I wasn't making very much when I did work, which was a lot of money at that time. And when they gave me my hourly wage this time, I was, whoa! I was very impressed.
And I heard a cute little story that when you were told that you could have 2 weeks vacation, you were stunned at the fact that you could have vacation and still get paid for it.
Very much so. Yeah, and you also get sick time. Like I had gotten really sick, kind of like a flu, and I would take time off. Finally, they made me take it off, and with pay, I'm going with sick. But they did. They paid me actually to be sick, and because I never took time off before, I earned, I guess, the time. They said.
Right. You're entitled.
I'm going, this isn't right. And they said yes.
Do you have any advice, Jeannette, for other young people out in the community who are thinking about applying for the 1991 program?
Yeah, go for it. It's worth it. It really is worth it. Like if you don't get hired from housing, believe it or not, there's a lot of places out there that will take you. And gladly, especially because of the training you've had. The training alone puts you in a category that even a bank will hire you to clean, or you can move into an apartment building that isn't with housing and virtually take care of the building on your own. Instead of having contractors come in for them, you could do it yourself. They'll give you a little extra money for it. But there's a lot of things you can do after you've been trained, and you're supporting your own family, and you can kind of hold your head up high and say, hey, I did it. I did it. Yeah.
And you, I believe you said when you first heard that you were going into the program, you were a little bit scared.
I was terrified.
Because you felt you would never succeed in it.
Yeah. I didn't want to let anybody down.
Especially yourself.
Yeah, myself. I wanted to prove to the whole world, which I know is hard to do, but I wanted to prove to them all I could do it. You know?
So your motto is, try it.
Yeah, you'll like it.
You'll like it.
You'll like it.
That is the success story of JennetteDeboer. Her two counterparts have equally nice, successful stories to tell. Shelley, I believe, went on to get a job in one of the local maintenance companies in London. And Suzanne, who is still on the training program, well, she'll be finished in a week or so, and hopefully her success story will match up to Jeanette's. We do encourage everyone out there, when you get the application form and the information package in your mailbox, don't throw it out. Sit down and read it. Call the office. We have a committee in the office of 5 staff people who would be glad to answer your questions. And above all, do apply. If you don't get the training program in 1991, maybe you will at a later date, but do try.